Another day, another need to run to a new location. How are you doing? Oh, it's about me. I've been calling the Technocracy, the syndicate? Of course I have. Rewired this thing, just as I told you. Why have I been doing it? Downloading their databases. I need knowledge. I need to know more if I'm going to help us. Of course I told them about us. Look, I told them that I was using you to infiltrate various groups of reality deviants. That's why they let me have the download. I gave them reasonable amounts of true facts about what we've been up to that they can check, and voila, I'm a respectable member of the Technocracy again, at least for a day or two, and I got all the data. Why me? I think you'll find that I also took advantage of that to fry your, well, used to be my little mental manipulation device there. Why did I do that? Well, because you know that I'm loyal to you. I'm your friend. You set it there. That can't be undone, or it could be undone by you if you got into your head to do something stupid and reprogram me to be more obedient or in the way that you want, which would be contradictory for my interest and especially contradictory for your interest. For our sake, I needed to keep my preferences unchanged as they are currently, so I fried it out. Oh, just before frying it out, I set my loyalty to you as a sort of paternalistic, condescending loyalty. That is much more likely to last, given my personality and your personality. So yeah, now we're friends again. Well, what should we talk about now? So I say there's 3 groups, well, 2.5 groups that we can consider as shielding us. There's the Bata'a. Really not sure if I pronounced that right. What are they? They're voodoo, basically, and lots of other beliefs, Catholicism's all mangled. Basically, they're the ones who, from the slave trade, from Jamaica, from the American South, torn from their country, forced to embrace partially alien beliefs, and they came up with some mix of everything that they had around them. They're survivors is maybe the best way of describing them. They go with what works, or what they think works, because this is magic. They're deep in the swamps of Louisiana. You can find them in Haiti. From what I understand, they don't really like the voodoo image, the stereotype, but they can use it. They can use beliefs. It's almost as if all this magic was a question of beliefs. An anthropic field would make sense. Yes. So they are survivors. They help their own. They bring in fresh blood. They do a variety of rituals, and they pick up so much from the culture around them. They still do. Disney and Hollywood, that shapes a lot of their rituals today. Unconscious, well, they probably wouldn't admit this aspect of it, but so much of their rituals is done by imitating things that they've seen in movies, changing it a little bit, and they derive the power from this belief. So you can actually see their power wax and wane depending on whether people are caring about supernatural horror, about vampires, or about giant spaceships. What's the most common on the screen? So yes, but possible. I don't think they'd stick their necks out for us, but if we could make it worth their while, then I think they would go for it. They're all about, well, they believe there's spirits all around. The Lao, the various saints as well, synchronist, and they communicate with the spirits. They don't bow, they survive, they don't humiliate themselves, they negotiate, they deal, they reach agreements with various powers, including with political powers. I think some of them have been successful in politics because they treat politicians as just sort of somewhat spoilt spirits. Again, finding them a bit of a challenge. Next, hollow ones. These are the Goths, basically. The Goths used to be so fashionable. Now they're unfashionable. And I think they like the second option. They're all about death, grace, gloom, a sort of romanticism, but not the high energy sort. More the you sit down on a tomb and you meditate about the ephemeral of life, and then you jump off the tomb in one smooth, graceful movement, your cape flicking behind you, and then you vanish. Yeah, I have actually seen one once, and they did exactly that. A bit embarrassing. I wasn't able to catch them. They had just vanished. But that's the hollow ones for you. They're a magical group. They're a style. They're an aesthetic. They actually have surprisingly ancient roots. You can trace them back to certain versions of Stoicism. Horribly mangled, of course. But they've been there for a long time. The stylish outsiders, the ones who don't rebel, but define themselves as on the outside with elegance looking in. They seem to be organized in gangs, basically, which can be entirely democratic or ruled by an iron fist, or depends on the qualities of the leader and the decisions of the led. But again, well, I don't know. A few earrings, light face paint. Think I could pass as a goth? Possibly not. Anyway, let's get on to the last group. Well, I say group, but they're not really group. The orphans. Imagine when I awoke to my spark of genius and you awoke to whatever it is you do. If you've been alone, if there'd been no one around you, no one to guide you, no one to tell you the truth about the world, what would you have done? Crazy things happen. You have such potential suddenly, but it's uncontrollable. It goes wild. It goes mad, and you're alone. These are the orphans. They are all alone, and they look out. They look for others of their kinds, a desperate desire to belong. This is what they do, and they conglomerate together sometimes. The group splits, they come apart. They're kind of, well, been talking about a lot of groups that feel oppressed or on the side of the oppressed, and they've all had a collective way of dealing with it. The Sisters of Hippolyta take in women's and the women who are mistreated or who are lost. The Bata'a just try and survive past deals with spirits, but they're part of a community. But the orphans there, and even the hollow ones, as I say, they're part of a community. They have collective standards. But the orphans, they're on their own. They're really independent. They want to maintain that independence at all costs, and they want so desperately to be part of a group that values them. Both of them happen simultaneously. Yeah, human socialization is messed up. We should really find a way of improving that. Anyway, what I was saying is I think the orphans are probably the best bet, because we're kind of them now, orphans ourselves from our organization. So I have taken the liberty of contacting some of them and establishing a meeting. Yes, I do take initiatives. I'm not a slave. I can think for myself. But anyway, yeah, so I have taken the initiative, and we're going to meet them in about 20 minutes if all goes well. So, yeah, put on something. I'll put on something a bit more presentable as well, but are they trustworthy? Well, I hope they're trustworthy. There's no real way of knowing, but sometimes you just have to take risks in life. What's going on? What's going on? Who are you? Come. Run!